You alright in there, love? Do you need some help?
Oh, only if it's not too much trouble.
Mum? Mum! When you finished out there, Maxine needs a hand in the kitchen.
Good evening and welcome to our special report on WKD adverts.
First of all, our live reporters Rachel and Charlotte will give us an insight into what the actual target market of WKD is.
Thank you from the studio. Now live from the forum of Exeter University, we have Charlotte and myself, Rachel. With us, Nikki will be interviewing passers-by, asking their opinions of the information given to you and showing the adverts in question.
But before that, we will discuss the target markets of WKD and their campaigns. As demonstrated in the advert shown, it appears that WKD's target market is middle-aged men. Do you think this is true? In recent research done in 2005, it was proven false as the majority of WKD drinkers are female. In addition, whilst researching WKD, their chosen target market released was people of ages 19 to 25. An example of this can be the original SIM partnership with Exeter Town, in which both companies combined in holding events to encourage students to show their wicked side. Some stunts included vodka shots to the eye.
But is this enough to prove people aged 19 to 25 are not only their desired target market, but their actual target market? The qualities of WKD drinks come into question. These drinks appear to many people within its demographic to be too expensive and too weak in alcoholic content to be satisfactory. To support this, packaging of the bottles has been analysed and can portray similar style packaging to items targeted at children. The brightly coloured drinks, with information printed on the back labelling, can create a form of nostalgic marketing. In addition, the weak alcohol content means the bottles are more likely to be purchased by parents for their child's first alcoholic drink. Not only these two factors, but the ability for children of 16 and below to access information of WKD's target market are meant to see from social media networks like Facebook and Twitter can encourage those children to drink the products, creating a form of brand loyalty. In WKD, they hope for children not only to purchase the alcohol when able to, but to drink it as well.
Let's take this out to the public and see what they truly think.
Okay, I'm live in the forum with Will, with Ollie, with Akshay, with Rebecca and Hazel, here with Natalie, and with Ethan and Kevin. Do you drink WKD?
I do, I love it. WKD.
When I was like yeah.
No.
No.
And have you seen any advertisements at all for the WKD campaigns?
Potentially a couple.
I have not.
No.
I think so. I've seen have you got a WKD sign?
Not recently, no.
Well, did you know that the product placement and packaging is similar to that of children's advertising? And does that shock you at all?
No, not really. Not really. If I'm honest.
Wait.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if it was really similar to children's products, that would be good. But I've never thought that personally.
The last question I'd like to ask you is, do you have a WKD side?
I definitely do.
Not that I'm willing to show you.
Oh,
No.
no.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you? No. Thank you for your time.
Cheers.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Go on.
Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Nikki. Now back to the studio where the ethics behind our discoveries and WKD's campaign will be discussed.
Okay, welcome back. Now please have a look at this additional advert from WKD.
Welcome back. Now we're going to discuss whether these adverts are ethical. Thus, Nicoletta and I are going to focus on the role of women first, and then on the fact that WKD actually target younger generations.
It can be said that both ads convey very sexist messages, since the first ad depicts the woman as being totally responsible for the household on her own, while the man is being unsupportive and non-cooperative.
And furthermore, the man doesn't even look away from his TV at all, and he doesn't show any interest into his wife's worries. This shows a very backward and stereotypical role allocation, since women have now become more emancipated and chores are not a typical female work anymore.
And even though this ad is only 4 years old, it still presents an old stereotype, and it cannot be considered as being totally ethical, as it is sexist and it discriminates against women.
Now, concerning the second advert, it is obvious that the women are objectified by men. The men only care about looking good and sporty as the women are facing them, and they do not seem to care about any inner values or characteristics.
And this is stressed by the male gaze, which mainly means that the women are watched by men as objects of sexual desire. Therefore, the question whether this ad is ethically correct arises.
Well, obviously not. But why do they insert sexist elements in those ads anyway? Surely it would discourage women from buying WKD, right? However, market research shows differently, as we have learned from our live reporters earlier. WKD is more popular with females than males.
Well, those ads are funny, and therefore this hides the fact that they actually talk about severe stereotypes and are discriminating. This also leads women not to consider them offensive, because it is a commonly accepted stereotype, which is made fun of very often, and has become part of our culture.
Well, of course, those ads are not only seen by adults, but also by children and teenagers. But especially younger generations may not recognize that there are unethical elements within those ads, and they just consider them entertaining.
And this might lead them to share them with their friends on social media like Facebook, which results in even more people viewing them. And all of this happens without them realizing what we're actually spreading.
Well, this is an example of the new marketing strategy, which instead of promoting the product to make the target audience buy it, wants to make it interesting and funny, so that people talk about it. If they do so and spread it further via social media, people get to know the product and become familiar with the brand.
So, is it ethical what WKD does?
Well, I don't think so, because children are exposed to those elements of sexism and gender discrimination, and thus they get used to it, and maybe even accept it as natural.
However, WKD has recently changed its approach slightly in the latest advert, which you're going to see now.
All right. Yeah, still at work. Yep, just me. And the cleaners. Okay? See you later. Bye.
Well, this definitely is an improvement compared to the previous ads, because it focuses on the fact that everyone needs some time for themselves. For example, for watching football in a bar. This is the same for women who may want some time on their own, too.
But it is still unethical that the men in the advert, and apparently most of the men in the advert, lie to their wives instead of telling them the truth. However, I do agree with you, it is less than ethical because there's no real objectification or discrimination of women.
Well, it's good to see that they've made some progress so far. Okay, so we have come to the end of our special report on WKD. Thank you for watching it.
Goodbye.